the time, 'cause I wanna freeze this moment, make it mine, hold you close, now my heart's wide open. When I'm with you suddenly I feel no pain. Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Hold you close, now my heart's wide open. When I'm with you suddenly I feel no pain. Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it? Do you make it go away? Do you make it go away?
Opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to another round of the NEVO TCR Series. We're into the second half of the season now, and what a wonderful season it has been so far. Massive entertainment wherever you look, and myself, Chaz Draycott, and Matthew Crisp have been enjoying ourselves immensely. Matt, it's been great fun up to this point so far. A very tight championship and a very entertaining one indeed, wouldn't you agree?
Certainly has been. Yeah, good evening, Chaz. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, after Watkins Glen last time out, we head to what is another classic American circuit here at Belle Isle, but it couldn't be more different with a very wide circuit we had last time. And here at Belle Isle, you're never too far away from a slab of concrete to catch you out.
No, that's absolutely for sure. And this is a very difficult circuit for the drivers to get right this evening. There are no places to hide around a circuit like Belle Isle. And to be honest, it's a very entertaining place for racing as well. I'm not normally a massive fan of street circuits like this, but honestly, in recent times I've found more and more that they can be more enjoyable than most, to be honest with you. I never really understood them for quite a while, but now I've finally got the idea. So let's have a look at our championship standings, shall we? Taya Flatten currently top of the pile. He wasn't at the previous race meeting at Watkins Glen, but he's certainly still doing a standout job right at the top of the pack. He's got a big old gap over Nick Clibbins and Preben Vala, who after winning the second race at Watkins Glen received a lot of penalties. A number of the drivers all received big track limits penalties, which they were warned about beforehand, and the points were really shaken up by it. Eystein Herfjord still has 40 points to his name because he's classified as winning both races at Watkins Glen, but it's still nice and close in there. Sam Smith only 1 point clear of Hakon Ask. In the AM Championship standings, well, Martin Shirley is going to be smiling a lot right now. He's got 120 points to Ian Manner's 84 points on the board. Mark Redford on 67 is only 1 point ahead of Jason Morris, and then he's 6 points clear of Tom Van Putt, so still plenty to fight for there as well. And then even in the Teams Championship, it's close as well. It's a tie, although for some reason I've got iRace Esports written down twice by the look of it. Well done, Chaz. They are currently in third place with 165 points, but they are only 8 points behind the team ahead of them, which is Simtech Racing. Ignium Motorsport currently at the very top of proceedings. Now, I've been told by my timing system, or at least my streaming software, that we are losing a lot of frames right now, and I can only apologise for this. I'm really not 100% sure why that is, if I'm honest with you. I'll try and get to the bottom of it, and we'll find out. But we'll look at some cars on our screens, shall we, Matt? Because, as mentioned, it's going to be a bit claustrophobic around here for the drivers tonight. We need to very quickly get used to how that's going to be from, a viewing perspective as well, actually. We're often sat on top of the walls here rather than in front of them.
I think that one of the aims for the drivers tonight will be just to survive the races. 25 minutes might not sound like a particularly long race, but when you're flirting with concrete walls, it can very quickly go wrong.
Can indeed, and well, we've seen before now what these TCR cars can be like. They can be very fragile at times, and one little kiss of the barrier is enough to just throw up so many issues, with maybe breaking the suspension, puncturing tyres, and yeah, I'm trying to fix the issues. And yeah, I've been told about the timing screen on the left-hand side. Not sure why it's doing that, to be honest with you, but it seems to think that it's funny. Oh, don't you love broadcasting, everybody? It is an absolute joy, innit? Absolute joy. Sometimes as there, Jose Scully has a bit of a kiss against the barrier, and now makes his way down to a very scary part of the circuit here. A lot of these tight right-handers, you've got a long time to think about what you're going to be doing when you get there, haven't you? It's one of the scariest bits of the whole thing.
Yeah, turn 3 is probably one of the biggest overtaking opportunities on the circuit, but getting a good exit out of those first couple of corners is crucial for that. Turn 2 in particular is one of those corners where you think you can get on the power much earlier than you think you can, and before you know, you've understeered into the outside wall, and yeah, that can be your race over.
Can indeed. Just having a quick look now to see if I can get the overlay back up. No, it's still doing it. Why on earth is it doing that? That's very strange, isn't it? Very strange indeed. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with maybe a driver name or something on here that's caused that. But that is very, very frustrating indeed. See whether we can give it a reload. Apologies for this, everybody, but you know what I'm like. I'll always be honest with you and fix things live on air as they come about. Now we've got no timing tower whatsoever on the left-hand side, which is nice, isn't it? Oh, I love technology. You have to love it. See if we can get it. No, it's still doing it. That is very, very odd. Very, very odd indeed. Now, I apologise, everyone, because I do not know why it's doing that. But you can see at the bottom that things are still working, so clearly just a timing tower issue. Maybe something with the what they call the CSS, which is the coding that basically shapes and colours everything on here. It's a wonderful bit of software, the SDK overlay, but yeah, clearly I've got something wrong here at the moment. Sorry, Reese.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that over the course. That was literally what I was trying to explain a couple of moments ago. Yeah, he was just understeered slightly wide and hitting the outside wall there at turn 2, and yeah, he knows he's got a bit of damage and he's abandoned his run. But most of the guys in the pits now, sort of practice session is nearly over, just into the final preparations before a very short 10-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, it seems like these sessions can go very, very quickly sometimes when you're a driver as well. I mean, it feels like sometimes you can just get 1 or 2 laps in and then all of a sudden that's it. You know, it just feels like the time disappears for you. When you get there and you get into the sim and you sit in the car for the first time, you think, oh, I've got ages yet, you know, we're going to be all right here. And then it just takes absolutely forever to do anything at all. Like, just even the outlap, you know, you see the timer ticking down, and it can get very, very frustrating indeed. But here we look at Nick Clibbens, the man that's moved up to 2nd place in the championship standings at the moment in the Hyundai Veloster. Gorgeous little race car, but look again how close he's getting here. The NEVO Formula 3 Series came here a few seasons ago, and we had some titanic battles. Jerome Lamy from year 1, I remember, was particularly exciting, but clipped the walls and damaged the car. And that's the thing, there's a bit of a fine line, isn't there, between pushing to the right amount, but then pushing a little bit too hard.
Certainly is, and Nick Clibbens making his way around. Turns towards turn 3 and 4, as I said, biggest overtaking opportunity on the circuit, and it'll be a big pinch point at the start of the race. Turn 3 isn't the only overtaking opportunity though. We've got around the back of the circuit up towards sort of turn 7, and that sort of stadium section at turn 8, 9, 10, 11 is quite a single file there through there. But yeah, you can see how bumpy this circuit is. It's a real classic American circuit. You don't see even street tracks over in Europe. You don't see them quite as bumpy as this.
No, that's absolutely for sure. Sorry about this. You can see physically that I'm trying to mess with stuff on the left-hand side here to change the widths and the data and everything. I'm trying to get it all fixed for you, but clearly I'm trying to edit the wrong bit here. But right now, Taya Flatten once again half a second clear at the top here, Matt. I mean, I don't want to say it's what we expected, but I mean, the guy's an absolute machine at the moment, isn't he? When he is here, he's absolutely on it.
It certainly is, and sorry I'm saying midweek he'd been done about over 5 hours worth of practice coming into this. I think we need to do a balanced performance on practice times, so the championship leader doesn't get the same amount of laps practice as everyone else. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, practice makes perfect, and if you have the time to put in that many laps. I hate practice myself. I don't get how people can do hours and hours just constantly going round and round and round. It's not my cup of tea, but these guys, they put in the hours and it pays off for them.
It's very, very true indeed. Now we come to qualifying, and the drivers will make their way out onto the circuit one at a time, and Taya Flatten is the first driver to get out there. And this is the thing, sometimes you'll see drivers head out into a session and they'll wait around a little bit and they'll figure out who's doing what and, you know, their best opportunity, and give the other competitors chance to get times on the board before they sort of react to it. But here, Taya Flatten is the first car out. Obviously, you enlightened me to the fact that the drivers get ordered in terms of where they finish practice, and he uses that, you know, gets the time on the board and then disappears off at the front.
Yeah, it certainly does, and the others trying to follow him around, but the slipstream around here is not going to be as big as we saw last time out at Watkins Glen. If anything, you're going to want to have a bit of space between yourself and the cars around you, because just the nature of this track means that mistakes are more likely than some of the other circuits. Before you know it, you're following someone closely, they make a mistake, and you get caught up in their incident. And I believe these guys are allowed to tow in this session, but of course it means they have cold tyres, cold brakes, cold everything, and it's just you're starting the whole process again, which Flatton's going through now.
See how narrow this place is. And you can see just how steep the curbs are. And that's the thing, on a lot of street circuits, you do get really high curbs, don't you? You don't get these sort of forgiving curbs that you can have on a lot of racing tracks all around the world. There's absolutely no margin for error at all.
No, there isn't. Flatton here going on to his first flying lap. No, this isn't it's going to be his quickest lap, just because the tyres take a little while to come in. But it's also about building yourself up to it. I always personally like qualifying sessions like this, where the tyres, it takes a bit of time for your optimum lap to come in. It can build up to it. I'm never a fan of going out there and just having to deliver one lap just like that. I've always preferred a few laps just to build up to that one magic lap that comes at the end of the session.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, in the Chaz Draycott Media Formula One World Championship, we've been having one-shot qualifying for drivers where they only get one lap, and it's been very entertaining. I must actually congratulate the drivers on how well they've choreographed it, and Jakub Szymanski as well, who has been telling drivers when to go out. They've been going out in reverse championship order, and they all get their own airtime. We've left them nicely spaced apart so they don't give each other slipstreams throughout the session and so on, and it's been really entertaining stuff to watch. And I think that if we get the same in other championships as well, dependent of course on the community and those involved and how heavily involved you get, then I think it could certainly be something that catches on. Here's Ben Gregory in the Boosted Motorsport machine. Now, Boosted Motorsport and Simtech Racing have all sort of congregated into bigger teams. There used to be Boosted Motorsport and Boosted Simsport, but now there is Boosted Motorsport and that's it. With the Simtech cars, it was Simtech Black and Blue, when they were getting knocked black and blue in certain places around this this series so far. But they are now just Simtech Racing. And basically the top two highest scorers from the team in each race are the ones that will score the points. So there you go. Thank you, Mr. Crisp, for sending me what I needed to do to fix the overlay behind the scenes, because it is now fixed and we are back to being able to look at these things properly. That Civic sounded disgustingly pretty as he crossed the line. And John Roberts does not get a valid lap time on the board. It's Jason Morris that's the fastest AM driver at the moment. Ian Manners moves up into second place. Tom Van Putt is third, but it's the three Norwegians, Terje Flaten, Eystein Herfjord in the 5-star motorsport machine, and Hakon Ask, that are the top three at the moment. And to be honest with you, it's been a bit of a Norwegian takeover so far, hasn't it, this season, mate? But I mean, you can't knock them. They've not been doing anything unfairly or racing badly. It's just been top-notch performance.
I was just checking earlier to see if that 100% Norwegian win stat carried on last time, but it had, because Herfjord, after the track limits penalties were applied after the races, he was awarded both the wins last time.
He was indeed, and I imagine he'll be a very happy bunny after that. Maybe not in the way that he won the second race, of course, with penalties determining that, but still, he's not going to complain about having the championship points on his side, of course. But right now, we've got 11 cars with times on the board, but we've got 5 without. We've got Xander van Herwijnen, Reece Watts, John Roberts and Nick Clibbens, all with no lap times on the board as of yet. So we wait to see exactly what they can do. Reece Watts there coming to the line now. He actually did a purple sector 1, did Reece, and that's a fantastic time, all the way up to 4th place. I was surprised that he hadn't got a time on the board yet, actually, because of the fact that I saw him go purple earlier on. But wow, really good stuff from him. He may be over a second off Terje Flaten, but as we all know, he is in a different postcode at the moment. But that's good stuff from Reece Watt, that. I'll give him that one.
Yeah, it's a mighty lap, and he got really aggressive the curve there on the inside of turn 3. But yeah, another thing to factor in qualifying is if you just 0x the walls, and that's what I mean, like small contact against one of the walls, it can it's not something that can necessarily slow you down in terms of lap time, but in iRacing it actually invalidates your lap just contact, because I mean, wall riding and things. I mean, I don't think you get any advantage from that in iRacing, but it's to prevent things like this. Even though I don't think you'd gain from it.
Yeah, that's it. I think on certain circuits, you don't have to worry too much about pushing the limits, but places like this, you just have to really tiptoe your way around. And you see a lot of drivers, you can see the ones that don't quite have the confidence when it comes to attacking a curb or braking as late as they dare, because you can't just think, oh well, if I brake too late, I'll go off onto the grass or onto that runoff area or into the gravel a little bit, because in iRacing you don't really need to worry about gravel, you can just drive over it. But here, a lot of the time it's 90-degree corners and there's just walls at the end. They may just be tyre walls, but they're solid. But listen, you can hear Niels van Sanden just clipping these walls either side as he makes his way around. And it's all about those tiny margins. Reece Watt improves further and goes to 3rd place. The man's on a mission tonight.
Yeah, he's about 6 tenths ahead of his next rival in the AM class. He's got all the pros together, all the AMs together, apart from Reece Watt, who's well mixing it with the pros at the moment.
He is as well. He's doing a fantastic job of it right now. And let's hope for his sake that this continues. But Taylor Flatten is once again on the very top. And it's looking like another solid performance, isn't it, with only 2.5 minutes left to go.
6 tenths is a big margin around around any track, but especially a street circuit. And just you watch him here, he's just using the whole width of the circuit, glancing the walls there. So almost like he's going to lose a mirror at some point. He's getting that close.
Yeah, I imagine we will actually see some cars without their wing mirrors at points, because when they do take enough of a knock on the side of the car, the mirror will pop off. So I'm kind of hoping in a way that we do, because it's not touring car racing without some of them losing a wing mirror or two, is it? It's always an entertaining category no matter what. But I mean, this section of the circuit here that we see Ian Manners going through right now, so scary. It's one of the tightest parts of the track, and it's very start-stop, and especially in these cars as well, where you have to be on and off the brakes just to help it rotate, and you see it there as Taylor Flatten goes even quicker at the very top of the standings.
Yeah, Reece Watt's still got that purple first sector, so whatever he's doing through there, he's got it absolutely hooked up. But yeah, Flatten just extending the margin, and Herfjord's coming to the pits. He knows that he can't improve on his lap time, as this is a heat racing session. Once we get to 10 minutes, that's it. The qualifying's over and you can't finish your lap.
Yeah, anybody really that's only just starting laps now will not complete them before the session is done. So we'll try and keep our eye on those that are closest to finishing. Niels van Sanden's just crossed the line. Sam Smith is going to be the next car to put a time on the board. And he clips the inside wall, and there it is. That's all it needs. It breaks the suspension, and it writes off the car. And that is the tiny margin that you need to be careful with around here. Luke Jones crosses the line. Does he improve his time? No, he does not. Taylor Flatten next up then. He's just going through the very scary section we looked at a moment ago. This is turns 9, 10, and then 11, which looks like it'd be a 90-degree right when you get to it, but it's even sharper than that. Down the long straight towards turn 12. It's almost like a fast right kink. Long turn 13, and then hard on the power to what is the final corner, turn 14. And then across the line he goes. He's only got a matter of seconds to get it done, and he crosses the line and does not improve, but that is qualifying done and dusted. And we get ready for the 9th race of the season here in the NEVO TCR Series. Taylor Flatten takes another pole position. Eystein Herfjord, his countryman, alongside him. Ben Gregory improved up to 3rd place. Great stuff from Ben. Apologies, Ben, for missing that. Reece Watt is 4th on the grid. Easily the highest placed AM driver in the field. Hakon Ask and Nick Clibbens make up row 3, ahead of Sam Smith and Jose Scully up there in 8th position. Jason Morris is next up. I don't know where I was going to go for Jason. That's a very exotic version of it. John Roberts is 10th. Niels van Sanden is 11th. He's got Ian Manners alongside him on row 6. Then we have Luke Jones and Tom Van Putt on row 7. Martin Kenyon and Sander van Herwijnen make up the back of the grid on row 8. So then, Matt, we wait for our pole sitter to make his way to the grid. Anyone that you've got your eye on here to potentially dethrone him in this race?
Ask me who's going to win the race. I think the only person that can beat Flatten in this race is going to be himself. As we've talked about so much, the walls are so close here. It's so easy when you've got a couple of seconds lead. Just your mind starts to wander and you start thinking about other things, and then that's when the mistakes start creeping in. But as I've said, he's put in the practice, he's put in the hours. I think he's going to get it done, to be honest.
Well, we'll have to wait and see then. We've got wonderful views from amongst our field. One of the beauties of sim racing is that you can have cameras absolutely anywhere you want to. We don't need specific permission from drivers or teams or anyone to install these onboards on the cars. We can always look wherever we want. As Tay Flatten has now taken his spot on pole position. Ben Gregory is going to line up third. Sam Smith is going to be 7th. I don't think we're going to get Xander van Herwijnen, but Ben Gregory hasn't made it to the grid yet, and any second now we're going to get this race underway. So I'm not sure what's happened to him, but no, Ben is not taking to the grid. So the 9th race of the season from Belle Isle in the NEVO TCR Series is underway, and those red lights were not on for long at all. And John Roberts has had a really good launch off the line. He's got ahead of Jason Morris already, and he's already trying to have a look at the back of Jose Scully's car, but that is Pro chasing down Am. Is everybody going to keep it tidy? Reese Watt is in 3rd place already at the start of this race, and he's going to be kicking himself for not just going a few tenths quicker, but still, he'll be a very happy boy. Behind him there's a battle going on here between Hakon Ask and Nick Clibbins. Nick needs to be careful here, doesn't he, Matt? Because of championship points, he is the man that is closest to Taya Flatten at the moment. It's still a big gap, but he's the one that can try and dethrone him in the championship in the long run.
And he's been very consistent. I was quite surprised actually to see him up there in a second, but it just shows how consistent he has. He's not won a race just this season, but right up there in the championship. But very clean start. We sort of feared that we might have to use the safety car if there was a bit of a pile up at the start, but all clean so far.
Certainly is. Top 3 breaking away a little bit now thanks to this battle. Tom Van Put's had a good first lap so far. He's gained 4 places from where he started. Maybe in a car that's got the team title of snail speed, but it's certainly not snail speed performance at the moment. He knows exactly where to place the car, or where to put the car, you could say, and he's done a good job in this opening lap. Ben Gregory has still not taken to the circuit, unfortunately, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there, whether it be a hardware issue or something along those lines. But here is the onboard view now from Tom Van Put, right in the thick of things in the middle of this pack. Taya Flatten, though, gaining nearly 7 tenths to the good over Eystein Herfjord in the opening lap.
Very clean start up front. As I say, Van Put up 4 positions from where it starts. It puts him in 3rd in the AM class at the moment. But Reese Watt is up in 3rd position. There, like Ian Manners was put attacking put there into turn 1, but yeah, he's got a couple of cars between himself and his next AM class rival. He can just afford to relax slightly in terms of the AM class battle, but he's still got to worry about these pro cars around him.
Yeah, that's it. You have to treat everybody like they're your enemy on a racetrack, you know, regardless of whether they're your teammates, whether they're your friends outside of the racing. You know, you still have to see them as competitors, and it's often hard to do sometimes in sim racing. I've had a lot of battles with good friends of mine on the circuit, and I've let the fact that they're my friends and I want to get on with them get in the way. Hakon Ask has just clipped the wall twice there, and Nick Clibbins has seen that as an opportunity. Hakon's not been a pain in the backside though, you know. He moved over to the side there as if to say, look, I know that you've got the run on me. I'm not going to make this too difficult. Let's try and maybe work together and go forward. As wow, Nick Clibbins gets very close to that wall on both sides there. He's got his teammate Sam Smith in there with him. Although Hakon now, stuff working together, he says. Tries to put it back down the inside again. Sam Smith's got a great view of this, so we'll go on board with him and look forward. But wow, these 3 Velosters, it's become one 12-wheeled Veloster.
It certainly has. Sam Smith looking at the attack there, but yeah, Hakon Ask, it's one of those things where you just make a small mistake like that, you just got to kick yourself, and yeah, it's very easy just to try and block the guy that's trying to attack you, because okay, you've made the mistake, but it's more than an annoyance you've made the mistake rather than actively trying to block someone that's behind. But yeah, that was it's good racing between those pair. John Roberts has come into the pits, So you said he made a good start, but maybe it was too good of a start.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether he did jump the start or not. We can go back to the green flag and have a look. Doesn't look like the car's damaged. Let's have a look at the start of the race. Car next to him goes and jumps it. But John doesn't. So Niles Mansanden should come in the pits soon, but maybe John's got damage from just hitting the wall somewhere, but that unfortunately has dropped him down the order, I'm afraid.
Still fourth position. I don't know if they're hitting the walls or it's just the underside of the car just hitting the ground through that part of the circuit.
Yeah, or a bit of netcode, because sometimes when they do skim a wall very quickly, the sim does play the sound and throw a few sparks up, but that's definitely the car bottoming out over the curve through there. We could see that with our own eyes. Hats off to Jose Scully, by the way, in the ATRS Esports car, because he's on the back of this fight, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, if he does watch the broadcasts, he had a very torrid start to the season at the Hungaroring. You know, I think he DNF'd from both races. He really didn't look like he was confident in what the car was doing. But now, I mean, he's right in the thick of it. He's 7th overall in this race, 2nd in his class, and he's been doing a solid job in the AM class as well, actually. I'll go back and have a look at some of the championship points, because from what I remember, he's had a couple of class podiums at least, and I think maybe even a class win in one race, Matt.
Yeah, he has. That's all. I was just looking myself. Yeah, he has, and yeah, I'll agree with you. That it was towards the rear of the field at the start of the season, but yeah, he's slowly progressed. Maybe got more on top of the car. Say we're on round 5, round 6 now. I can't remember.
Yeah, round 5.
Round 5. So he's just getting used to the car, and yeah, it's good to see. Good to see. The AM class seems to be each week we see a different name at the top, don't we?
Yeah.
We've not had one particular driver that's been winning every race.
Well, yeah, Reese Watt's best finish so far in the AM class during any race has been 4th position. And now, all of a sudden, he's miles ahead of them in terms of the pace at the top of this one. It's just brilliant. Yeah, he's really turned it around. We've got, 3 points finishes for Jose Scully since the start of the season, and they're all podiums. He won the first race that he actually scored points in, which was the 3rd race of the season, and then in rounds 5 and 6, he was 3rd, then 2nd. So every time he has finished a race in the points, which I imagine is just finishing the race, he's been right up there. So maybe, again, just one of those drivers that maybe pushes just a little bit too hard when it comes to it, but he knows if he keeps it on the track and keeps it all tidy, he can get the points on the board.
Yeah, he's doing the job at the moment, but yeah, that battle still. All those 4 cars are absolutely nose to tails here. Ian Mann has been making a move there on Van Part, and he's up to 9th position. That was nice clean move there. Tom didn't fight him too much there.
No, it's just clever racing, to be honest with you. Lets him go for a second, and maybe just opens up an opportunity to see what his pace is like, because if you have got a car around a place like this that is quicker than you, it is often in your best interest to just let them go, because they might be pushing a little bit harder, taking a few more risks than you. And if you're then taking risks to defend that and they're a little bit feisty, then there's not as much room for error around somewhere like this, and you can not cause an incident, but your defensive driving could see both of you end up in an incident, if that makes sense.
Yeah, see Martin Kenyon's come into the pits and he's out again. I hope he's not coming for a brew. I hope he's actually serving a penalty or fixing damage, but he's back on his way again.
In and out like a rich tea. But no, I think Martin has had some sort of damage repaired. You could see the way he was moving the car around when he came out of the pit lane for a second there. He was certainly trying to just check if something was working at least. And he carries on, and it looks fine. It certainly looks fine at the very front of the field for Taya Flatten. The man is still on the move and doing an amazing job of it. Right at the front of the pack. And there is the gap behind him. You can see he's not miles away from Eystein Herfjord, but at the end of the day, he's just eked out enough of a gap for him not to worry about the car behind.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It means that he can he doesn't want to relax too much, because that's when you start making mistakes. But he's got he's setting fastest laps of the race, but he can just it just means that he can make the odd error, but he can for the odd slightly run wide. He can drive within himself, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he doesn't need to push the limits too far. He can just do what he knows he can do, compete at a level that he knows he can compete at, which we've all seen him compete at before. And he's just, I don't know, sometimes when you get a driver that's as quick as Taya is, they can be way too aggressive, and they can be really flamboyant, and it can be obvious where the pace is. But with Taya Flatten, he's just so tidy everywhere, and the car doesn't look bothered. The body language of the whole machine doesn't look bothered. You know what I mean? He's just getting on with it, and he doesn't look fazed by anything that he's doing, whether the car might be misbehaving itself a little bit, or whether he's skimming walls like that. You know, it's all millimetre perfect, and he's just, I mean, it shows that the practice pays off, but he's just got it nailed, hasn't he?
Where that time is, I mean, I've watched laps from a lot of the top guys now racing. Yeah, okay, I watch it and they're not doing anything different, say, to what I'm doing, but they're millimetres perfect, as you say, absolutely everywhere, and every lap. It looks easy from watching it from the outside to do, but it's far from it.
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at Øystein Herfjord as well, we'll go on board with him for a moment and just show you how close it is. When you're on board here on a wide angle lens, you can see just how close those walls suddenly become. But look, half a second gained on that lap by Taya Flatten, another fastest lap of the race. Øystein Herfjord still doing a 1:38.3 in a TCR car. He's 6/10 quicker than Reece Watt. It is very high-paced stuff at the front of the field here, but these guys, masters of their craft, very tidy at the minute, but still it's just not quite able to match the pace of the race leader. But again, you can see here, no flamboyance, no overcorrection of the wheel or anything like that. You know, he's just turning where he needs to, when he needs to, and you can tell as well by some of the very sudden movements of the wheel this way and that you'd probably imagine he's on a direct drive, because the amount of force that seems to be going through the wheel very suddenly is quite apparent.
Yeah, it certainly is. And okay, you say, yeah, Flatten's half a second quicker a lap, but it doesn't even need to be going 1/10 of a second per corner. It's not even that. It's half a tenth, if that, per corner, and before you know it, it all adds up. And that can just be giving it, just say, a couple more centimetres closer to the wall, you know, cut the apexes a little bit more. It's just tiny margins, but over a course of a lap and, you know, a race like this, it adds up.
It certainly does, mate. Absolutely does. We've got Worcester UK in the chat. I know exactly who that is. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're doing well. Says Go J Morris, sharing the same surname. Jason Morris for iRace Esports. Oh, well, there's the curse. You've cursed him, Kyle. Flipping heck. Well, Jason at the moment, third in his class right now. Ian Manners there in the background trying to close him down. But they've spread out a little bit in the AM class right now, and you can see him moving the car around, checking it's not damaged. And that's very important, because you need to make sure that before you get to the next very scary corner, you wiggle the steering around and know that the car is going to behave itself when it gets to said corner, because I'm sure we've both been in the same situation before, Matt, where you've had a bit of a tap here and there, or a tiny bit of contact, and you've thought, oh, it'll be all right, and then you get to the next corner, you hit the brakes, and the car suddenly decides it wants to go in the opposite direction.
Or you get the opposite, where you hit the wall and you think, oh, this is it, this is race over, what have I done that for? And you sort of go, hang on a minute, top speed seems fine.
Yeah.
The car's still straight, and you crack on.
Do indeed, always crack on, always crack on. Got a slight inter-team battle going on here, actually, with the other two iRace Esports cars, which is Nick Clibbens in car 11. He's starting to lose time to Hakon Ask ahead of him, actually. Hakon got past rather recently. That's his teammate Sam Smith behind, but you can see the tyre smoke there where they clip that curb. It really does upset the balance of the car, but I suppose for the amount of speed you can carry over it and just fly through that corner, it may be worth clipping it sometimes. Let's have a look at exactly how Hakon got past Nick Clibbens. Oh, is Nick gonna... Oh, Nick runs wide. He has to get out of the throttle to make sure he doesn't hit the wall. And Hakon just says, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I don't know how to convert that to Norwegian, but, you know, cheers, mate, will do.
Yeah, nice clean pass there. But so these two iRace Esports cars, 5th and 6th right now. And for the second race, the top 6 will get reversed. So at the moment, they would be starting 1-2 on the grid, which actually might not end up being a bad thing.
No, you're very, very right there, actually. They will want to get that first win for the team this season because, unbelievably, every driver that's won the first race of the night has then gone on to win the second race of the night. Taya Flatten has done it 3 times, and then, well, technically anyway, Eystein Herfjord won both races at Watkins Glen, not on the wall. No, not on the wall, on the circuit. But, you know, he's still classed with the win, effectively. But we know that it was Preben Vala that won the second race at Watkins Glen on the road. But, of course, with the penalties and everything applied, that win was taken away. Got Box 59 Motorsport online in the chat. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good evening. It's quite a tame... Oh, well, no, maybe not.
Yeah, lost Tom Van Putt out there somewhere. Oh, and he just clipped the grass. We went turn 4, and there we go. Oh, no. And that's taken out...
Luke Jones, that was.
Yeah,
with him.
I think Luke might have gotten away with that. But yeah, he just clipped the grass on the entry. It's so easy to do because your eye line's not looking at that part of the circuit. You're looking towards the inside wall there. Very easy to do.
Yeah, you can see Tom goes into the wall and it bounces off very aggressively with the front end. Luke knew exactly where he wanted to go from the very start of that accident, but just look how little of the grass he touches. I'll say how little, actually. A lot of the car goes onto it when you see it in slow motion. He's got at least both of the left wheels on there, and it's going in, and you can see that he just knows it's going, and he's already on the brakes, hits the wall, bounces off, and I think he gets away with that, but then just as that front bumper catches the barrier, that's when it just all goes to pot and it throws him around, and then unfortunately Luke Jones suffers big damage in that one. Seems like he's carried on. He's able to bring it back to the pits though. Fair effort that is by Luke. Lovely placed sort of hoardings and signs and stuff there cover our view of him entering the pit lane, but top effort that by Luke to bring that car back to the pits in the state it was in. This is a top effort as well, isn't it? Reece Watts still in 3rd place outright in the AM class, and he's got a decent bit of pace to fight with Hakon Ask, Nick Clibbens and Sam Smith.
Yeah, of course it doesn't help. He's still going to get points for winning the AM class because the points aren't based on the overall finishing position. You get points based on your class, but it's still a mighty effort ahead of guys who we've seen so far this season. Been running right at the front of the pro class.
Yeah, for sure. He's been doing an absolutely solid job, and it's going to be his first win in the category if he takes this one. Reece Watts so far hasn't finished any higher than 4th in the AM class, but Jakob has been complimenting them on the fact that they've been practicing so much and so frequently, and it shows, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, drivers put in the time to get quicker and get better, especially when you're just practicing at one circuit all the time, you know, for that week, and all you need to do is just find the little nuances of each circuit, you know, the ways that certain bumps work or affect the car, and it can make a hell of a difference. People often underestimate the difference that practice can make, don't they, Matt?
They do. I mean, as drivers do have favourite circuits as well. I mean, it's funny, I was watching the F1 coverage at the weekend with Martin Brundle was saying about how he tried not to have favourite circuits because he wants to perform at your best at every single circuit, but your favourite circuits are always the ones you perform better at. I mean, some drivers you'll probably know why you perform better at certain tracks and others, certain types of courses, or maybe street circuits or different types of road courses. But yeah, this could be Reece Watts could be a street course specialist for what we know.
Yeah, you never know. This could be his bread and butter. I always said that it was the circuits that I didn't like where I went quickest, and the circuits I did like, I was terrible. Jose Scully's done a purple sector one. Clearly shows something about the Civic, doesn't it, tonight? Because none of our pro drivers, although John Roberts is in the Civic actually, he's the only one in the pro side of things that is in the Honda Civic. And I mean, he didn't have a bad qualifying session either, to be fair, but obviously with whatever reason he had to go in the pits, I assume damage, he just hasn't been able to show us where that pace could have got him on merit up the field, which is a big shame really. But right now, Reece Watts and Jose Scully showing us just how good that Honda Civic is.
Yeah, certainly are. And as we've seen all season, these cars, different parts of the circuit, different cars are going to have the advantage. Okay, this series they've applied a bit of extra balance of performance to what iRacing have already implemented, just to even things up a little bit. But there's still going to be subtle differences, and that's what makes this sort of racing. I mean, okay, the cars get very similar at times, but you want cars have different strengths. Some are going to be a bit quicker on the straight, some are going to be a bit better on the brakes, like the Civic is. Some are going to be a bit better through slow corners. The list goes on. You can go on and on. You can talk all day about the subtle differences between all these cars.
Yeah, for sure. Even just down to sometimes it's fundamental things that come down to just the shape of the car, or even just the car that it's based on when it's a race car as well. How easy it is to rotate on the brakes, or how easy it is to get it off the corner instead of sort of having to struggle for traction. It could have a better punch out the corner than other cars and then lose it further down the line. Like you said, there is an endless list of details and circumstances where people can say that their car is rubbish or say that certain cars are better than theirs. But what matters is just getting out there on track and throw them all at each other and give us entertaining racing. And to be honest with you, it is great to see that we do have a variation of cars on the grid, and that's one of the best things that iRacing have done for a while as well, if you ask me. We always had the Kia Optima GTS, and that was the closest thing we had to a touring car. It was an absolute monster of a machine, nearly 380 horsepower in a front wheel drive car with barely any traction. It was great. It did, I think with the low downforce setup on it, with next to no wing on the rear, it did nearly 180 miles an hour in a straight line. But to have more than one TCR car after living off the Audi for so long, we're very lucky to have such great TCR cars on iRacing. People moan about them, the balance of performance and the damage a lot, but to be honest with you, I think iRacing have done a stunning job with these cars. They really have. The way they sound, the way they behave, and just the racing. It's realistic TCR racing. I love it.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more there, Chaz, on that one. I think Limits goes in a little bit deep to turn 3 there, but yeah, it's one of the few places where you can afford to run a slightly wide and somewhat gets away with it.
Ben Gregory said he had to help his girlfriend who's not well, so that's why he's missed the first race. That's absolutely fine, Ben. There's no need to apologise, buddy. Just hope she's all right. Hope you're all right, and hopefully we can see you on the grid for race 2. But if not, of course, we hope that she is okay. We've got 20 minutes done of this race already, actually, here, Matt. And considering, admittedly, there's not been a massive amount going on here in this race, it's actually gone by very quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah, a couple more laps out of this, but I mean, last time we looked, it was only a couple of seconds to Flatton's lead, and look, it's up to 8.4 seconds now. He probably isn't looking at that, to be honest. If I was in his position, I wouldn't be looking at the gap to second place. It's just a small distraction from the job in hand.
Yeah, he's absolutely on a mission, isn't he? Really is flying now. That is Tom Van Putt and Martin Kenyon battling for position, a lap down in amongst all of our leaders there, so do not get confused. But there we have Reece Watt ahead of Hakon Ask, and this is getting closer and closer now into the last couple of laps. Hakon wants to make it an all-Norwegian podium, and he's going to go for it. He's gone down the inside of Reece Watt. There's a tiny touch, though. Just about get away with it, though, but Reece didn't need to fight that. He's got a lot of cars between himself and the next AM driver. He doesn't need to put this sort of pressure on himself, does he?
No, doesn't he? But he's getting stuck in, though, with these guys. He's not just moving over and letting them by. He's fighting them, and yeah, Nick Clemens is the next one behind him to attack.
Yeah, Nick's not going to take anything lying down either. He's seen that Hakon has managed to get through and he wants to go chasing after him again. Hakon has got the potential to be right up there in the championship, and Nick knows that, so he can't just sort of linger around and wait for it. Oh, he needs to just be careful, though. He's getting too close to the back of Reece Watt and gives him a bit of a kiss into the right-hander. What's the slipstream going to be like down here? You don't often get that much, to be honest with you. You don't get much of a chance to take advantage of it properly anyway, especially with the nature of the corner that you're going into. It's a bit of a hard braking zone, but it's so high speed with a big curve down the inside, and it's very one line around circuits like this. That's why you have to be there to sort of force the door open, but it compromises not just you but the car that you're chasing as well, so you've got to be so careful about your overtaking moves. But look how close they can follow each other around here. It's excellent stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's just for Nick Clemens, he would just be, even though it's difficult to pass around this section, you're still going to be trying to put the guy in front of you. It's just slightly offline. Just try and make him a bit wide, and open the door for you to slip up the inside, or maybe even just set up the move down into turn 3. It's probably the biggest overtaking opportunity as getting out of the way there was Martin Kenyon. Sensible stuff from him to let this battle continue on, but Sam Smith slightly further back from this battle at the moment, but he's in that 6th position. Was it him who was it round one? It was one of the RAC sports cars that was purposely sat in that 6th position to take the reverse grip off. I think it was Sam.
I think
it was either him or Nick.
I think it might have been Sam, yeah. I think he did want to wait there because he was right behind somebody for like the whole race. And we were thinking, he's not going for a move. He's clearly quicker than the person ahead of him, but he's just not going for a move. And then it suddenly clicked, didn't it? And we were like, oh, yeah. Ian Manners has had an incident, unfortunately. He's come to a stop. He's gone a bit hot into the right-hander. And, well, he's not hit anything. And to be honest... Oh, that sounds good. Hang on. Bit of a tame getaway, but still, at least he didn't hit anything. If you can get it wrong round here and not hit a wall, you've done well.
Yeah, it's reversing his way out, but he doesn't lose any positions. And with this slightly smaller field, of course, tonight, they're all going to be scoring points.
Yeah.
Every single driver that finishes the race is going to be score points. So that's why you've seen them, even though they get damaged, they're getting in the pits, they're getting straight back out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Nick Clibbins is still very close to the back of Reece Watt. They've got Tom Van Putt in front of them. And to be honest, Reece needs Tom to get out of the way sooner rather than later. And he wants him to do it nice and smoothly, and he's done it there. He's got through on the right-hand side. Now we've got one more lap to go. Taylor Flatten has started the final lap of this race. But these guys, well, they don't need to fight, to be honest with you. Nick Clibbins doesn't need to get past Reece Watt because he's only got his teammate behind him. And to be honest with you, Reece Watt doesn't need to work hard on defending because he's in a different class to Nick Clibbins. But right now, he's going for the overall position. He says, you know what, stuff you. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and hold on here. We'll keep on with this as long as we can just to see how it unfolds because I'm intrigued to see whether Nick does get too close to the back of Reece and give him a tap into a corner. By mistake, of course. I'm not saying he's going to do it on purpose, but I'm also intrigued to see whether Reece can hold on and defend well enough because it's been an excellent drive so far by Reece and it would be a shame for it to all come undone. The Civic is holding its own in 4th position outright. Hakon Ask has disappeared off up the road. It's like he's flicked a switch, isn't it, Matt? He's suddenly got way quicker up there.
Yeah, you couldn't ask any more from him.
Whee! I like that. And now he's hacking on. Oh! Get in.
Yeah, but with a single file now through this section of the circuit, we've gone through turn 7, which is probably the last overtaking opportunity. So yeah, unless Reece Watt makes a mistake, I think he's going to hold on to that 4th position outright.
Taylor Flatten does it once again. That's his 7th race win of the season in the 7th race that he's competed in this championship this season. Amazing performance once again by the reigning champ. 2nd place, Eystein Herfjord, 100% podium record for him so far this season. Well done to him. Hakon Ask recovers to 3rd place, and Reece Watt takes a win in the AM class. What a great drive that is. 4th place outright ahead of Nick Clibbins and Sam Smith, who will make up the front row for race 2. Josie Scully finishes 2nd in the AM class, and Jason Morris is going to finish 3rd. 8th overall, Ian Manners ends up 9th overall. He's got a couple more corners left to go. And John Roberts, despite having to come into the pits right at the start of the race, recovers in the background there to finish in 10th position. Well, what can you say though, Matt? Taylor Flatten once again, absolutely unstoppable behaviour that was. He wins by 8.8 seconds in the end. Mega stuff.
Yeah, I think we a few races ago we didn't know what to say about his performances. This man is just unstoppable this season.
He really is. Like I said, he's raced in 7 races so far this season, and he has won all of them. Absolutely every single one. He has been very, very impressive, and he's the reigning champion for a reason. Another all-Norwegian podium as well. Taylor Flatten, Eystein Herfjord and Hakon Ask make it a 1-2-3 for Norway. And that would have been, yeah, there's a chat from Martin Shirley there in the YouTube chat saying that Reece should have let those guys past him for the race 2 pole position. Now that would have been an interesting one, wouldn't it? That would have been quite the tactic, because he wouldn't have lost any championship points and he would have been able to just carry on and get pole. Very intriguing.
Would be, but as we saw in that race, he was quicker. He stayed ahead of the 2 pro guys ahead of them, so there's no reason why in the 2nd race he can't pass them on the road.
Very true indeed. There is your Heat 1 result then. Taylor Flatten takes the win with Eystein Herfjord finishing in 2nd. Hakon Ask in 3rd position, rounding out a Norwegian podium. Reese Watt next up ahead of the 2 iRace Esports cars of Nick Clibbins and Sam Smith. Jose Scully finishes 2nd in the AM class ahead of Jason Morris, with Ian Manners and John Roberts rounding out your top 10. Luke Jones was 11th ahead of Niles Manstandard in 12th. Tom Van Putt was 13th ahead of Martin Kenyon, those two 1 lap down. Ben Gregory did not take the start of the race, and Xander Van Herwijnen did not either. Adam McNally in the YouTube chat, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you indeed. Now then, it's about that time of the broadcast, everybody, where Matt and I just take a quick 3-minute break. We'll be right back with you in just a few minutes' time. We'll bring you the final race of the evening here at Belle Isle in the NEVO TCR Series. We'll see you in a minute. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Matthew Crisp here for the NEVO TCR Series from Belle Isle in Detroit. This wonderful, tight and twisty circuit has been mega entertaining so far, and we have seen Taya Flatten take his 7th win of the season out of 7 races that he has competed in. We're going to see round 10 of the championship in just a moment's time, as drivers now complete their warm-up session ahead of the 2nd race. And the 2 drivers that... Actually, sorry, not those 2 drivers you just saw there. Nick Clibbins, this man, the iRace Esports machine, and his teammate Sam Smith will be starting on the front row of the grid because we get the top 6 from the first race result reversed. And it's going to be exciting to see whether they can hold on to that. But as mentioned before, so far, at this point in the championship, Matt, everybody that's won the first race has then effectively won the 2nd race. So do you think we're going to see that again?
It's going to be Flatten's probably toughest task yet, to winning this one. Okay, it's difficult to overtake here, but it's not impossible as we've seen. But we've said that before. He's going to struggle to get from 6th to 1st, and before the end of lap 1, he's already 3rd or 2nd or something.
Yeah, it's very true. Keep your eye out for Taylor Flatten in the white and blue Ignium Motorsport machine. He's the only one that is here this evening. His teammate Preben Bauer not with us for this one. There is your grid, though. Basically the same as the race result earlier. Ben Gregory is with us on the grid for this one. I'm not sure if we're going to get Xander van Herwijnen for this race, but everybody is pretty much ready to go here. And we're just waiting now for Sam Smith, who's going to pop up on the right of our screen. Peter Mackay's fan club are relentless tonight in the YouTube chat, and boop, there he is. Pops up on the right-hand side of shot, and we're about to get things underway. Tom Van Putt is not taking to the grid for this one, so round 10 of the NEVO TCR Series from Belle Isle is underway. The red lights stay on a lot longer this time round, I can tell you that for free. Sam Smith gets a great launch off the line. Nick Clibbens goes well as well. Let's keep our eye out for Taylor Flatten and see how he approaches this start. John Roberts has gained another spot. He's had another fantastic getaway. Martin Kenyon's gained 2 spots off the very start of this one. Of course, one of them being Tom Van Putt, but he's also got ahead of... Actually, no, sorry, he's not gained any places at all. I apologise. Still, big fighting going on near the front of the field. We had side-by-side for a moment there between Hakon Ask and, yep, Taylor Flatten around the outside at turn 3. Is he going to make that one stick? That would be absolutely amazing. Into another right-hander. He's going to carry it around. Obviously, it's his teammate, and already up to 4th place he goes. Jose Scully has gone down. Eystein Herfjord has lost 2 places from where he started, actually. Matt, sorry, mate. I was reading Sam Smith there at the top of the order, but yeah, losing 2 places already. That's not a good start. Ben Gregory's gained 4.
Great start from him, kind of fighting his way through from the back of the grid. But yeah, top 3 all in the same order. That flattens up to 4th position. It's still going to be difficult for him to make it through to the front though, because I feel like we're going to have an RAC Sports sort of wall at the front, I think.
Oh, that got very messy there between Ben Gregory and Niles Van Sanden. And to be honest with you, there was nowhere else that Niles could go. Ben was down the inside for a long time as Hakon Ask is around as well. Oh, that's both the Ignium Motorsport Blaze cars in a matter of seconds involved in incidents. Unbelievable stuff. Let's have a look at what happened here with Ben Gregory and Niles Van Sanden, because if we look at it from this angle, Ben's down the inside for a while, but he clips that curb and runs wide, and, well, Niles can't really go anywhere else. Then we look at Hakon Ask, and, oh, there was already some sort of drama.
Yeah, Nick Clibbens, I've seen, has fallen right to the rear of the order, so I think he had a moment, something happened, and yeah, contact with Hakon Ask, and he's around.
Oh, so that is, yeah, that's way before. So if we go all the way back to this and then look at Nick Clibbens. Sam Smith leading the race. You've got Reese Watt trying to come at him here. Reese in the Civic just behind us. It's going this way than that. This Reese Watt guy doesn't give up, does he?
He certainly doesn't. He's up to 2nd now as a result of this, and Nick went right over the curve and tried to avoid his teammate.
Oh, he's turned in. He's turned in on Reese. There's no other way of saying it. Sorry, Nick. And then
he's obviously got damage, I think.
Well, and then Hakon ran wide, to be honest. I think that was 6 of one, half dozen the other. Hakon ran wide, and then Nick turned in while there was a car there. But Hakon was way further over than you would have expected the car on your inside to be fair to him. There's been more drama as well. We do have to go further back. John Roberts has apparently been off the road. Oh, goodness me. Is that Clibbens? No, that's another one of the iRace cars. That's Jason Morris involved in that one. I think Jason just trying to get back on the road. He's got the lock onto the right, and then it just spit back over. Oh, there's a bit of netcode involved, but again, it's a little bit messy, isn't it? Flipping heck. We expected a bit of argy-bargy tonight, but not this much in quick succession.
Certainly not. Sam Smith disappearing up front, 2 seconds lead, as here comes Taylor Flatten for 2nd place on the inside of Reese. What in the AM class doesn't fight him too hard. And Flatten's up 2nd. He's now got 1 car between himself and victory, and we're only on lap 3 of the race.
Unbelievable stuff by the reigning champion. Absolutely on a mission he is at the moment. Behind him on a mission as well as Eystein Herfjord. He goes past Jose Scully. Jose knows what's good for him. He says, look, I'm 2nd in the AM Championship right now, or in this AM race anyway. I'm happy to sit here. If you want to go through and have your own race, you carry on and go and do that. We've got Nick Clibbens all over the back of Martin Kenyon further down the order, so whatever damage or ailment the car has is not that bad, but I feel that he's not going to be at full chat for the rest of this one. He's about 2 seconds off what Taylor Flatten did last time round. Then again, that's normal for anybody, to be honest with you, to be 2 seconds off Taylor Flatten. Ben Gregory's gained 9 spots though, and he's up to 6th place. He's having a hell of a race. I mean, it may have been a bit unorthodox how he got past Niles Mansandon, and I imagine there'll be a big question mark over Ben Gregory's result because of that. But either way, he certainly had a very good opening couple of laps.
Fourth in the pro class because you've got 2 AM class cars ahead of him.
Yes,
so
very true.
Not far away from the pro class podium.
Very true indeed. We'll go back with Nick Clibbons and just see what his progress is like. And Martin Kenyon says, look, I'm not going to hold you up here, mate. Martin said he did not enjoy that previous race either. And it's not surprising. It's a very difficult circuit car combination, this, because you've got front-wheel drive TCR cars that do not like to respond in the quickest of ways, let's say. As sideways through shot goes Martin Kenyon. And you can see that it is just, it's difficult. Very difficult indeed for him to get it right. Difficult for anyone to get it right, to be honest with you. But right now, Reece Watt, well, he's sort of the star of the show for me at the moment. He's doing an amazing job up there.
Yeah, he certainly is. It's 3rd place. He's got Herfield right up behind him in the pro class. Won't be interesting to see how hard he fights this one, because his nearest AM class rival is not that far behind him. Unlike in the first race, we had 2-3 cars buffer to his next AM class rival.
Very true. He's got less than a second to Jose Scully right now. He's managing to watch him from here. And I imagine that Scully will be... Well, he has let, of course, Eystein Herfield go through. He's going to be hoping that he can use him like a key to open the door and have a go at Reece Watt. What do you think?
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea from him. As I say, it's difficult to overtake here, but possible. It's interesting to see how this one plays out, because I say Reece Watt's not really been under any pressure from any of his AM class rivals so far. So yeah, I'm intrigued.
Love riding on board with these cars around here, though, with the narrow confines of this circuit. You can really feel how stiff the cars are as well, and how understeery they are. And to be honest, I mean, I've not driven the TCR cars properly in a while, but I know that these days they're a lot more lively than they were when the Audi first came to the service, because it was a very numb car to begin with, wasn't it? It was just pure understeer and no oversteer.
Yeah, the Audi isn't quite like that so much anymore, but these newer cars, to the velocity of the rear is very lively, and that's what you want to do in a TCR car. You want to use the rear to get the car turning, try and take the as much energy off the front tyres as you possibly can.
Now, Reece Watt, I'm feeling a bit of nerves for him right now, to be honest, because I don't think he's going to let Eystein Herfield go. I think he should, but I don't think he's going to.
With that anxious situation, what do you do? Because you want that car between yourself and your nearest rival in your class, but at the same time, he's in a higher class, so in theory he should be ahead of you. So yeah.
Love watching that shot there. You can see the glint of the sunshine over the water on the right hand side, following us all the way down the straight, or the not quite straight, into what is a very difficult corner to judge, actually. That little right kink there, which is effectively turn 7, that is such a difficult one to get right, because with a lot of other corners around here, you've got curbs that are really tall, you've got barriers and a bit of grass here and there, but around that, it's literally just a curb in what seems like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, most of the corners of the racetrack, you're aiming at a wall. Your eyesight is just looking at the wall and how close you can get to it. But yeah, you just got that curb, and it doesn't look it, but it's quite a high curb through there. So if you do hit it hard, it can fire you straight off onto the wall on the outside.
And again, now that the conditions are getting faster and faster, Taylor Flatten is getting faster and faster and doing fastest lap after fastest lap. But right now, Eystein Herfield, he's actually working hard to try and get past Reece Watt here. And we need to look at the front, because all of a sudden, just tell you, it's just inevitable, isn't he? Flatten is just inevitable.
But Sam Smith is not going to let this one go without a fight, that's for sure. You saw that huge defence there into turn number 3. He says if you want to get past, you're going to have to go on the outside turn.
Keeping my eye out to see if there's anything that you can really pick up on. I don't know. It's difficult because you could basically just say that he is being smoother in general, but from the outside it's hard to tell. But just manages to get the run in places you wouldn't expect, and Sam Smith has the car step out on him on the brakes. Taylor Flatten goes through. Sam puts his nose down the inside. Oh, it's very, very close and very, very scary. But Sam is going to be thinking, right, you know what, stuff you. You've got enough race wins so far this season. I'm going to fight for this one. I'm not going to let you get away with this. Please, I want one. I'm not going to let you win both races again, but to be honest, I don't think that you've got much choice when it's Taylor Flatten. He's just unbelievable.
Surprising the defence is a bit harder into turn 7 there. He's got to go fast in the line there, but maybe he's got another plan up his sleeve. But if he does, he needs to get on with it, because otherwise Flatten's going to disappear up the road off here.
Yeah, I think if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, Taylor Flatten. You just leave the door open that tiny bit. He sees an opportunity, he takes it and he gets through. You give him the chance to break away by a couple of tenths of a second and he takes 8. We saw that in the first race. Absolutely on fire at the moment is this man, and to be honest, he's well on his way to take the championship for the second time running. But the lighting's looking good right now. Just had a message off Jakub Szymanski, series organiser, who's just said the same. Nice and shiny with the headlights on. The headlights aren't having too much of an effect. It's not pitch black, so we can still see what's going on. And we've still got 15 minutes of this race to go.
Yeah, and Jakub also said, look at the progress of Ben Gregory. He's up 5th place. Still 4th in the pro class, but he's going to get 4th place on the in the overall classification if he gets past Reece Watt here.
Yeah, we've had Eystein Herfjord get past him as well. We ought to look at some of the moves if we just keep our eye on Ben trying this one now. He's not gone for it this time, though. It looks like Reece has gone in there hot. No, he's just not hitting the curb. Let's have a quick look at what's been going on here, because Luke Jones got past Ian Manners earlier on. This was... you can hear that Ian hasn't... He's stopped. That was when Ian had his moment earlier, apparently. Martin Kenyon also got past Ian Manners not long after this. I think this is the same incident, is it? Oh no, I think Ian's had another one there, actually. And that might have been the second time, because it was a long time after the first one. So, unfortunately for Ian, it's not quite gone to plan that, as Eystein Herfjord here getting past Reece Watt. This was down the inside of turn 3. Nice and tidy stuff. And then we'll look back at Ben Gregory getting past Jose Scully, as he did a couple of laps ago. And this is just going to be a bit of slipstreaming down towards the end of the straight. Jose's just going to let him go. And again, it's clever racing by Jose Scully. We've seen him doing that. And Ben is now past Reece Watt, typically, as we watch that. And now, that means... Oh, look, Reece has got the back end out of shape through turn 1. Good stuff from him to leave Ben the space there. Ben gets through. But now, that means that these two are fighting for the class lead. And we're only just about halfway through this race right now. Is Reece going to be able to... I mean, he showed us how well he could hold on earlier on, Matt, but can he hold on against a fellow AM driver here? There's more at stake this time.
Pressure's on for him now. He's got a main AM class competitor behind him. But yeah, Jose came one position in this race, finished 7th, so pretty respectable in that first race. But yeah, a lot closer to Reece in terms of pace in this one.
It's interesting to see that he doesn't really close up much down the back straight at all. You know, I said earlier that the slipstream effect here is absolutely minimal, and to be honest with you, we couldn't see any of it down that back straight there into turn 7. Even round here, look, you can't gain an advantage from the car in front at all. You just have to hit your marks right. And I think that's part of the challenge of circuits like this. A lot of the time when you are following the car in front, if you see a bit of the track where maybe they could take a few more liberties or just attack a curb a little bit more, run a bit further wide, then you can sort of benefit from that. And you go, yeah, you know what, I can maybe get away with that. I know I can be quicker than them through there. But on a circuit like this, it's just so scary to take those risks, isn't it? And there's not really anywhere you can see where you could be quicker than them. Yeah,
your pace is dictated almost by the people around you. You sort of end up following their lines and doing the same things as them, because you can't brake too late, otherwise you end up running into the back of them. So that's why qualifying on these street circuits is so important.
Just waiting now to see if there's anybody else really making waves forward at this point in the race, because as you and I both know, Matt, looking after the tyres is so important in TCR cars, and it's about the halfway point of the race where we do start to see people struggle when they've pushed too hard in the opening stages. But on the flip side, we see drivers continually holding decent pace because they've looked after the tyres in the first half. Are there any drivers that you know or have noticed so far this season that are particularly good at doing either?
I haven't, to be honest, but you talk about the tyres going up. It's not in terms of wear, it's just in terms of the heat. It's just the heat going through those front tyres. The rears are fine. The rears will last for hours and hours and you have no problem, but it's one of those things, once you've overheated the front tyres, you're never going to get them back.
Watching Ian Manners right now have a go at Martin Kenyon. Martin's going to want a brew after this one, and to be honest, probably so's Ian with the advertising all over Martin's machine in front of him, but they're both very close to one another. This is currently for 4th position in the AM class. And right now, Ian's got a good run. He looks to the inside. He's just trying to unsettle Martin here. That's all you can really do around this circuit, to be honest with you. You said it yourself very well as well, Matt. I must say, your pace is dictated by those around you. I love that. Absolutely love that phrase. Oh, Ian's giving him a tap. Oh, it was scary stuff. I mean, Ian made it clear he was going right. Martin made it very clear he wasn't going to let him, but Ian carried on and gave him a little bit of a shove. I wouldn't say there were many manners involved in that one, to be honest with you. It wasn't like a sudden jink over, was it?
There wasn't a wall there. I think he'd have kept his foot in.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, probably. It's quite scary.
Yeah, it's clean enough for now. But yeah, it's quite clear. Martin Kenyon, you said he felt he was struggling in that first race, but he still defended for every position out there.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, every championship point matters, and these guys are showing us that. Sam Smith is getting caught by Eystein Herfjord further up the order. There is the gap between the two of them. Eystein now getting closer and closer. Just under 9 minutes of this race left to go. And Sam, I'm sure, will be feeling the pressure. Eystein will be feeling the pressure as well, though, because he knows that the only driver he really needs to beat championship points-wise to reel him in is Taya Flatten. And Taya is now 2 places ahead of him. So it's all important, isn't it? And as I've just said, every point matters. Even though Eystein probably knows he's not going to be in with a chance of winning the championship outright, having only joined halfway through, you've still got to try and give it your all, haven't you, at every meeting, just in case. You never know what can happen.
Exactly, every point matters in these championships, even when it looks like it could all be over. It's just anything can happen. Anything can happen. But Ben Gregory is in 4th place. He's quicker than these guys. He's been left about 0.3 of a second quicker than Sam Smith. And these guys are about to do battle. He's going to catch them very quickly indeed. And
we've had a very close moment here between Martin Kenyon and Ian Manners once again. Seemed like they'd swap round for a moment, but they just got that close on the timing screen. I think it swapped round on my screen on the right, but not on the actual timing tower itself. Eystein Herfjord, by the way, with that move, well, he's now unleashed, isn't he? Completely unleashed to go after Taya Flatten, but I think we saw it earlier that Taya's just got the pace at the moment. I mean, that little slide was lovely, wasn't it, to be honest with you, to round that manoeuvre off, but I don't know if Eystein's going to be able to completely catch up with our race leader. 4.4 seconds now, the gap.
Yeah, that was incredible there. Herfjord breaking around the outside of Sam Smith much later on the brakes and got it done even before they turned into the corner.
Looks like Sam's not leaving him alone, actually, to be honest with you. We go back to it further back in the order, and look behind them, Ben Gregory in 4th place. He's only 1.9 seconds off this battle, and he's carrying some severe pace around here, is Ben. He had a bit of a hit earlier, and had a bit of damage, but to be honest, I'd say he's got away with it, definitely. I mean, he's flying, absolutely flying. As someone that is Taya Flatten, 1:37.705, but still, amazing.
Yeah, plus 11 from where he started. Like, right at the back of the grid, even ahead of those, behind those who had issues in that first race. So a brilliant drive.
Great to hang on board here with Ben Gregory. You can see just how much the sun's going down now, and this is one of the circuits where it's very dangerous in the sort of twilight. Maybe at night time it's not too bad, but when you get to this sort of twilight section where everything goes a bit murky and there's not much contrast in the air, everything's all just grey, isn't it? You know, it's a very murky sort of colour palette that we get here, and it's very difficult to see at most points on the circuit, and I think this is where drivers will struggle more than in the night time as such.
Yeah, especially when they've got the sun in their eyes. I mean, that actually depends on your whatever graphics settings you've got applied. If you've got HDR on or off, it's actually sometimes better to have it off so you don't have the sun glaring in your face. Because it's often something you can do in the sim world, it's not something you can do in the real life world, in the real world.
No, very true. And often as well, depending on your field of view, is how much the sunlight is actually exaggerated as well. You obviously get a much bigger lens flare on a wide-angle lens in the real world. So when you have a much wider field of view on big triple screens, for example, then the sun glare is absolutely massive. But if you have it zoomed in quite far on just a single screen, then you don't really get any sun glare at all. You maybe just get a little blip here and there of it shining through in certain places, but yeah, when you have it wide angle, you get a massive amount of glare coming through. Now there's an interesting battle we need to keep our eye on here, and that is Martin Kenyon with Ian Manners and now Jason Morris piling in behind. 2 AM drivers all trying to go for 4th place here, Matt. This is getting much more of a bigger train right now.
It was spicy before, isn't it? It's even more spicy now with a 3-car battle. We've seen Martin Kenyon isn't going to just let these guys by. He's going to absolutely fight for it. You can see he's offline. He's trying to defend. Ian Manners trying to put Martin Kenyon off. It's difficult to overtake here, as I've said, but you just want to get your driver offline at the wrong moment, and you can open the door for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to just be very careful that you don't do yourself over on a circuit like this. And look at that, Ian Manners one way, then the other. Nearly kisses the back of Martin Kenyon's car, gets it stopped. And to be honest, while it was a bit scrappy on the way in, it was a lovely move. And look at that, adventurous stuff from Jason Morris down the inside. Opportunistic move, but doesn't get it done. That was great stuff by Ian Manners, though. One way, then the other, really sliding around. Let's have a look at that once again.
That was one out of my book. That one was slide on the outside, cut back the crispy cut back to the inside.
The crispy cut back.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you where that
sounds like something you can order from Mackey's. I want a large crispy cutback meal, please. Absolutely love that. For some reason,
you don't want to know where that came from, though. It's not a particularly proud moment where that came from.
Oh, was it one where maybe...
If you know, basically, one of them.
Did you switch across from one side to the other and wipe the other car out by any chance?
Him and a few others, yes.
Oh, God. Not many laps left to go now for our race leader, Taya Flatten, and he is absolutely on a mission right now. He is currently 6 seconds clear of second-placed Øystein Herfjord. Sam Smith has then got Ben Gregory all over the back of him. This isn't done yet. Ben Gregory could get a podium here from 15th on the grid.
I wanted to say that, can we get Ben on the podium? But at one point it looked like he wasn't going to have it, but he's going to have a big dive here into number 3. Sam gives him space, brilliant respect from the two, and they stay in the same order for the moment.
Well, it's very, very close. And Ben, I'm sure, is just going to be trying to keep his head right now. Both of them are at the end of the day, but Ben doesn't want to get carried away here and try and get it done too soon. He's got a lap or so after this to do it anyway, so he doesn't need to worry about getting it done on this lap. Maybe just take a bit of time to assess where he's quicker than Sam, where Sam's weaknesses might be on the circuit, and just where he can maybe compromise his own entry to a corner to get a really good exit and try and outdo him. Or can he use the slipstream at any point of the circuit? That boosted machine may be a very bright and colourful and pretty machine, but it's certainly an evil looking one at that as well. They've got that sort of visor painted on the front end of it, and Sam Smith is going to see that filling his mirrors at the moment. It's epic to watch. We're going to get 2 more laps here at Belle Isle then, Matt.
Yeah, Flatten's so quick, he's extending the race for everyone else behind him. But yes, but Ben Gregory, of course, didn't participate in the first race, so he's probably a bit more fired up for this second one. Sometimes that's what you need. You just need a bit of, circumstances not to go away. It just fires you up. I know Kevin Zenstra says I race better when I'm angry, and it's so true.
Well, I'm the opposite. I'm absolutely awful when I get angry. If I make a mistake and get annoyed, I just make more and more mistakes. You know, I spiral downwards. I never improve. I don't think I've ever improved at sim racing in my life. There's a reason I'm a commentator. But still, great racing by everyone involved here. We've got Martin Kenyon and Jason Morris all over one another. It's Jason Morris all over Martin Kenyon. Into turn 1 they go. A little bit of a tap, but nothing too untoward. And Martin stays in front. Back to this then. It's another iRace esports car involved. And it's Sam Smith, who now seems to have gapped Ben Gregory a little bit, actually. He's gained a couple of tenths on him already in just this first sector.
there was a small mistake from Ben. That Sam just extended that for the moment, but lap and a half to go. Still all to play for.
Yes, indeed. We've got now 3 drivers almost locked into podium positions, but honestly, if you can count on any of them to try and change that, it's going to be Ben Gregory. He's going to be putting so much effort into these final laps. But Taya Flatten, well, he's just coming into the final corner now, and he's going to cross the line with about 15 seconds left on the clock. And he's going to start the final lap here at Belle Isle this evening. It's been an epic performance once again by Car 1P1 as whoa, Jason Morris, hello sunshine, suddenly emerges into shot in the air, all over the curbs. And is it damaged?
Yeah, I was saying, I think he's broken his car doing that.
It's understeering like a pig, isn't it? Well, I'm not sure actually. It seems all right there. Let's go on board and look at the steering. Yeah, it's trying to pull left, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe from the hit on the wall though on the right-hand side, because that's where it looks like he's visibly got the damage.
Oh, it's really understeering. It's not behaving itself there. And unfortunately, that puts that battle to bed. This one's been put to bed a little bit as well. I don't know what Sam Smith's just eaten in that last lap or so, but it's maybe a can of spinach or something. But flipping heck, he's got all Popeye on us and suddenly just pulled this pace out of nowhere. Either that or Ben Gregory has hit the wall and damaged the car and just killed the tyres trying to keep up with Sam. I'm not sure.
Yes, 4th place is still a mighty drive from Ben. From where he started is shame he couldn't quite get to the podium before Sam's going in slightly deep there. But yeah, Taya Flatten, another race winner. So the 100% race record for him continues. And we're at round. Okay, he missed the round last time, but as I said, we ran out of words to describe this guy's performance races and races ago. It's another win for him.
Yeah, number 8 for Taya Flatten out of 8 races that he's done this year. That's enough. That's all the airtime he's getting. He's going to crash it now, so I'll save him his blushes. Eystein Herfjord takes another 2nd position. Another fantastic drive. Hats off to Sam Smith for holding that one. Ben Gregory, that's a mega drive, that is, to be honest with you. Absolutely mega drive up to 4th place. And Reese Watt takes his 2nd win in the AM class this evening. Well done to Reese. That's a great night for him. Maximum points. Jose Scully gets 2nd place, and Luke Jones is going to make it 2 JW Motorsport cars on the podium in the AM class. Those two can be very, very pleased. They've been putting in a lot of practice, as we complimented them on earlier, and it pays off. 2 cars on the podium for those guys. But Taya Flatten, well, 8 wins out of 8 races that he's done so far this season. I mean, you just cannot knock the guy, can you? It's just epic stuff.
He puts in the effort, he puts in the practice, and it pays off. Just shows that lots of practice and hard work, it pays off.
Really does. And the man himself started 6th on the grid in this race and managed to still somehow take the victory, and just seems to be this unstoppable force in this championship. These pictures are moving. There will be cars moving in just a second. There you go. They'll get going off the line. But we're just waiting for the results to come in. We'll have a look at exactly how that all shaped out, and then we will have some interviews with some drivers for you, and hopefully get some good insights to how difficult that was around here tonight. I mean, we've both watched a number of different cars racing around here over our time on iRacing, Matt, and it is just one of them circuits that can catch anybody off guard, isn't it? No one's safe here.
Yeah, do you know what? Fair play to all the drivers tonight, because how many mistakes did we actually see out? Race-ending mistakes did we see out there? Very few. I did expect to see a lot more bent body panels. I mean, yeah, normally races at this track, probably count on your fingers the amount of cars that come back, without any damage. So yeah, fair play to the guys out there keeping it clean.
And we are going to have a look now at the race results. We'll give you the final standings on this one. Sorry, I've just had the horrendous moment of a spider landed on my shoulder. And I'm not talking money spider. Like, oh my god. Okay, right, compose yourself. Taya Flatten takes the win, 7 seconds to the good. Incredible drive. Eystein Herfjord 2nd place once again. And Sam Smith makes sure that the Norwegians don't lock out both podiums tonight. Ben Gregory finishes 4th. That's one hell of a drive, that, despite the potential question mark hanging over it. Reese Watt takes 2 wins in the AM category tonight. What an I've ruined it. Electrifying performance. Jose Scully finishes in 6th place, 2nd in class. Nick Clibbens, a bit of an under-the-radar night for him, actually, finishing 7th in that one. Luke Jones finishes 8th, 3rd in the AM class. Ian Manners was 9th with Martin Kenyon, rounding out the top 10. He held on ahead of Jason Morris. Thank you very much, Overlay. John Roberts finishes in 12th, with Niles Mansanden and Hakon Ask 13th and 14th, and then Tom Van Putt and Xander Van Herwijnen not finishing the race. And in the case of Xander, not starting the race either. Let's have a look at who we've got then for a chat here then, Matt. We've got a few drivers all lined up. To be honest, I think we should have a word with our double race winner once again. Taya Flatten joins us in the box. You had a week off last week, mate, and we thought he might come back revitalised and might want to just take more double victories. We didn't think you'd go out and do it again. You must be very, very happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. It was really, really fun tonight. Shame about some people missing out from this race, but yeah, it was so much fun.
And what was the car like around here? Because we saw a few drivers where it was maybe stepping out a little bit too much for them to handle, or other drivers not confident enough to push the car. What was the sort of balancing act like for you?
I have never practiced so much for a league race ever, like I did for this one. So I think I have 6 hours of practice before this race. So the setup for me was really, really nice. I spent so much time on it. So yeah, it just felt like natural to drive the car.
And was there any particular point on the circuit that worried you when you saw that it was on the calendar, or anywhere that you knew that you'd want to practice a bit more than anywhere else, or does the whole circuit sort of blend into one?
Yeah, the whole circuit blend into one. I didn't own the track before last week, I think. No, I bought it on the night of Watkins Glen. So I'd never tested it before, but I really enjoy city tracks, and Long Beach has been my favorite track before I tested this. So now this is the favorite track.
Well, I'm very glad that you enjoy it, mate, to be honest with you. I didn't have any clue that you didn't have it before this round, but still, that just adds to how impressive your performances have been so far this season. It's looking like a good season for you so far. One hand on the trophy already, you could say. Are you focused on winning the title, or is it just a case of enjoying the racing as it is now?
Yeah, for sure. I hope to win the title, but it's not over yet. I have to practice like hell for the rounds remaining as well. But yeah, it has been nice to win 8 out of 8. So that's almost the goal rest of the season now, to win rest of the races, but you never know.
You never know indeed, mate. Well, it's fantastic to watch you as always, mate. Thank you very much for joining us in the box. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to thank my girlfriend who lets me sit here and drive hour after hour, and my whole family, Igne Motorsport, and Øystein and Håkon as well. We have had a great night tonight. And of course, you guys.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Well, it's always a pleasure, like I say, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Cheers.
See you.
There you go then, Taya Flatten. And he's just such a nice guy, isn't he, Matt? I mean, we say it about everyone we speak to, but they are genuinely just nice people to speak to, these drivers, aren't they? You see them get all feisty on circuit, but it's just lovely to have a chat with them afterwards.
Yeah, it's like different personalities we see on the track, and so yeah, we see them getting aggressive on the racetrack, and then we interview them. As Taya was there, just so calm. It was also seemed so calm and controlled.
And speaking of calm and control, the man that seemed to be in control anyway from the outside of the car tonight, Øystein Herfjord, joins us in the box. Øystein, it didn't look like an easy night for you, chasing down Taya most of the time, but you still managed to get 2 second places out of it. That's not bad going really around here, is it?
No, I'm quite happy with that when Teddy's in the race. The speedy ass is kind of stupid, isn't it? Like I felt like I really stood up in my rig and trying to keep up the first couple of laps in race 1. There's no. I mean, you can't do that. It's stupendously fast.
It is pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you, but still very entertaining. And I mean, it's just amazing to see that somebody can get that many wins. But you've arrived on the scene in this championship in such a brilliant way. 2 race wins, 2 second places. Surely more to come.
Well, if Teddy makes or doesn't make a couple of races, then sure, I could probably fight for them. But yeah, I don't know. I really missed racing in TCRs. It's been a long time, so I actually prepared quite a lot for this race as well, and that actually makes it more annoying. Come to think of it, that is so much faster than me. But yeah, no. Hopefully some great results at the end of the season as well.
Well, still, it was very enjoyable, mate, to watch, and of course we look forward to seeing you on track next time round at Zandvoort. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to while we've got you?
Well, I as I did last time, I have to say hi to my parents, I guess, who's always watching the races. Also, my girlfriend kind of got a little bit cross with me not mentioning her last time, so I guess I do that now. I gotta thank her obviously for letting me sit there almost like a full-time job outside of a full-time job. I've been doing this all too much lately, but yeah. And also my team, of course, 5-Star Motorsports, and lastly, obviously you guys. Like I said last time, the broadcast is always super.
Thank you very much, mate. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, and like I say, it's great fun watching you out there on track, and we never know quite what's going to happen next, so it's always keeping us on our toes. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time round at Zandvoort, mate.
Yep, see you guys.
Cheers. And then we'll very quickly jump on to another interview with the man that gained the most places in that race there, Ben Gregory, just missing out on a podium. Now, the first question, Ben, is was it the tyres that were knackered at the end of that on them final few laps, or was it just you?
I think it's the suspension after I bounced every single corner of the car on every single wall. I pushed it a bit hard there.
Yeah, we did wonder because there were a few bits, I think, where we might have missed you just skimming the wall here and there. But, I mean, still, to come through the order in the way you did and get 4th place around a circuit like Belle Isle, and I know you love this place anyway, you must be absolutely beaming right now.
Yeah, I like Belle Isle and Long Beach are actually 2 of my favourite circuits. Like, I adore street circuits, and like Cameron, getting to race around here in TCRs is always fun. Did in World Touring cars as well, and it was great. Like, coming from the back too is also good. I do feel really bad about coming together with Neil. Neil's in lap 1. I sort of didn't realise he was fully alongside me when the track pinched in and sort of squeezed him into a wall, which I feel really bad about, and I do want to fully apologise for, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, around circuits like this, I mean, we've just seen it in slow-mo there, the moment between Jason and John in front of you, where, Jason was just innocently running a little bit wide on the grass, tried to get back on, but with the narrow confines of this circuit, a sort of what we'll call a foreign manoeuvre one way or another, just off a slight bit of racing line that someone wouldn't expect. It can cause such a big accident around a place like this. It's not the widest of places to go racing, but, there's pros and cons to all of that, isn't there?
Well, yeah, definitely. Like, you get the challenge, which is the best bit. Like, there's a reason why a lot of drivers love street circuits, and like doing it in iRacing, I think you really get to see why they do so much. But it is that risk and reward. Like, you have that. There is it's perfect corner, middling corner, death. Like, there's no in between.
Yeah, very, very true, mate. Very true. Well, luckily, the walls aren't so close on the next circuit we're going to, but they're not too far away. We head to Zandvoort in the Netherlands. What do you make of going there? I
actually haven't driven it since Formula 3 in about 4 years ago, so this is going to be quite interesting.
You don't need to. I hate Zandvoort. But still, it's going to be entertaining, I'm sure, with TCR cars around there. Is there anyone that you would like to give a thanks to while we've got you on the stream?
Yeah, just cheers to everyone. That was a great race. Like, everyone was very respectful, and just, yeah. Hopefully next one goes quite well.
Good stuff. Well, we'll see you soon, Ben. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, another evening comes to a close, Mr. Crisp. It was another fantastic night, and I think we always knew that it was going to be entertaining around here tonight. A shame the grid wasn't as big as it has been, but still 16 cars proved to us that you don't need a massive, massive grid to have good fun.
No, it certainly doesn't. We certainly didn't run out of things to talk about over the course of the 2 races. But you said Zandvoort next. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Zandvoort's not not one of my favourite tracks. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how TCRs go around now. I've not tried it in a TCR before, so again, difficult track to overtake, but back to a bit more of a traditional European style circuit.
Absolutely. Taya Flatten takes another 2 race wins on the night. It's another incredible performance. And as Matt said, we rightly go back to Zandvoort next time round. And it's going to be a very entertaining night of action. But that's all this evening from the NEVO TCR Series here on Chaz Draycott Media. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining in. Matt Crisp, thank you very much as ever for a lot of good fun in the booth. I've been Chaz Draycott, and I will see you next time round. Have a good night, everyone.
Opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car. Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.